Oh, hi there. I'm 80, and I just graduated middle school. Yes, I know. I'm a youngin', but I thought this would be a good story time to explain my experience and for kids just entering middle school to see it's not all that bad.
80, shut up. I'm just trying to get the respect you got.
Sorry. Oh, hey, you again. As I was saying before, let me explain my middle school experience. So I wasn't in the same school for all of middle school. I stayed in my home school for 6th grade, but that place wasn't as good as it was back in 2017, so I left. And in 7th and 8th grade, I stayed in my new school. So let's start in section 1, 6th grade. 6th grade was definitely my least favorite year in middle school. For starters, my old school wasn't a K through 8, it was a K through 12. In this school, there are 3 buildings. One had kindergarten and 1st grade, the second had 2nd and 5th grade, and the last held 6th to 12th grade. So there are prepubescent kids shoved in a building where some kids can buy a shotgun. So technically, I have a little bit of high school experience already. Now I hear you asking, why did you hate the school? Well, for starters, I guess the school was understaffed or something. So because of this, they removed the gifted advanced program. I was in this program, so now I had to be stuck in classes learning 6th grade math when I should have been learning 7th grade math. Because of this, if I'm being honest, I really didn't care about doing well because I was so bored learning. Another thing, since this was a high school building, there would be 0.07 GPA freshmen doing stupid things in the school bathrooms. Lastly, there was a school fight. I recorded it, thinking it could help administration see what happened. I was so naive. What ended up happening? They suspended me, ruining my crisp and clean record. I now hated that school with a passion. I have a lot more to talk about here because this is when my happiness increased a lot from before. As I said, I changed schools, and this school had advanced programs. I was finally back in. I was in advanced since 1st grade, but since that 1 year of not being in advanced, I was not academically prepared. My math skills were rusty, and since I went from 6th grade math all the way to pre-algebra, I was not ready. It was so fast-paced, and even worse, was the first time I had to use IXL. Now my other classes were fine, but for the first 2 quarters, my math was a little bit bad. But then I caught up and made it to algebra for 8th. I got banned. I wasn't happy about that. I couldn't change my schedule, but looking back, I'm glad I didn't. I picked a saxophone, and that's why there's one in the background. Band is probably the best class I had that year. I had 2 shows, one for winter and another for spring. And that year, I played alto sax, not tenor, like the one in the background. It's also very funny to see non-band kids trying to identify instruments. What is that? Oh, it's my band instrument. Look, is that a trumpet? Yes, it is a trumpet. Since I'm writing this in December of 2025, I have all my 8th grade experiences freshest in my head. I am now in 2 high school classes, algebra and physical science. Yeah, I got banned again, and I switched to tenor sax. My other elective is computer animation. Yes, my unfunded public school has computer animation. Take that, losers! Of course, I'm just joking. But I was so happy when I got in. In this class, we use Blender, which is actually an amazing software. I learned how to animate on my 2nd day. I learned how to make characters using one asset, animated my character, used cell shading, and much more. Now my 2 high school classes were easy. My teachers were just exaggerating their difficulty. It's nothing too bad. I found out my school had an after-school band program that was audition only called the All-Star Band. It was actually really fun. The people in it made it even better. We got to play at pep rallies, shows, and even the youth fair. Now I have a few things to get off my chest. 1. The 6th graders did not care about the program. 2. 8th graders carried. The biggest part of 8th grade, besides the ceremony of you leaving 8th grade of course, I'm talking about prom, where the guys rent suits they'll never afford to purchase, and some of the girls wear dresses that are so short you think it's for a nightclub. I was hyped for prom, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime moment. I wish other people saw it that way. When I thought of prom, I thought it was going to be a big banquet hall with golden walls, big circle tables, and crystal chandeliers. But no. Instead, what I got was an old renovated warehouse, the small narrow kinds attached to each other, with bright disco lights and a DJ playing some songs that were supposed to be clean, but he put the wrong versions on. Yeah. Let me say prom wasn't bad. I had a good time with friends. They danced, we talked, we looked at embarrassing photos of one specific friend and targeted him. Good times. When you think of prom, you probably assume that there are proposals all throughout the end of the year and people in relationships. This year there is not a single proposal. There's 3 couples at prom. That's it. Overall, it was fun. Graduation. probably the happiest and saddest event you'll ever experience. I mean, after this, you aren't a middle schooler anymore. You get caught up for awards, certificates, and your middle school diploma. It's a rush of pride, happiness, and sorrow that you won't re-experience until senior year. All-Star had to arrive early and start setting up for our performance. This is the last performance together we were ever going to do. We set up our instruments and practiced our 2 songs. Then after, we left the stage to the lineup with the rest of the people. After about 10 minutes of the parents getting their seats, all the 8th graders entered the auditorium to sit in their assigned seat. All-Star Band had to go back on stage to perform. After the school president gave his speech and another girl recited the Pledge of Allegiance, we performed the Star-Spangled Banner. Then we got caught up for awards. I got an animation one and a perfect attendance one. We got caught up for our middle school diploma, and then the event was over. The last few days of school were great. My friend's band, called the Asthmatic Cats, played a few of their songs in the cafeteria. These last few days I used to really connect with my friends that I might never see again. I'm only going to high school with 2 of my friends. I took selfies with each of my closest friends. Me and a small group of pals walked around the school asking for signatures from different teachers. Then, we went to 4th period. The last bell for period 6 rang, and that felt different than the other bells. My friends sat together and we talked and goofed around. At about 10 minutes after class, a lot of people started crying. Then, it was dismissal. I said my farewells to all my friends and walked out the entrance of the school. Instead of leaving, I waited for my friends to say goodbye again. Some last things I want to tell you before the video ends is to always make the best with your friends with the 3 years you have in middle school. You never know when or if you'll see them again. If you ever get into arguments, please make up and don't lose the friends you have. Always be nice to each other and always be there for your friends when they need it most. Don't try to force yourself to fit in. If you're friends with them already, you are good enough.